What's going on YouTube? One of the X right here. You hear me sniffling. I'm a little on the sick side, kind of blows, but what are you gonna do? So today I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is, should you go in the military? I know what you're thinking. Well, this idea is probably going to be a little biased, seeing as how you were in the military. Yes and no. And the argument would be, you go to college, or you go to the military, or you just start in the job force and work your way from there. All three are options. There isn't one that for one person will be better than for another person. Everyone's different. However, the military gives you options, gives you training, gives you a lot of things that you would normally have to pay for yourself in the training that you would receive from there. On top of that, you get a new focused mindset when you go through basic. Granted, not all of them are super hard. It's just trying to re-ingrain certain activities and certain attributes that you didn't think you normally had, and they kind of bring it out of you. And because of that, there's not many other places that can do that for you. The only time that you may encounter something that pulls out, you know, the greater in you is when you face difficult times, when you face things that are very challenging and you have to overcome them. The sad thing is, not a lot of people overcome those moments though. They falter, and then they fall, and they lose their way, or they settle for mediocrity and never amount to much more than what anyone ever told them they would. In the military, you get that mindset of, well, yeah, I'm still going to do this, so go fuck yourself. So the military isn't a bad choice because of all the things you're able to do while not actually having to pay for anything. On top of that, you get a life skill. As long as you do it right. There's people that go in and not try to plan out what happens when they get out and try to find the civilian equivalent to what they did in the military, and sometimes it just doesn't translate over. So if you do the military, you have to kind of plan out your future a little bit more. You want to do something electronics. There's tons of jobs in the military that you can take from there and then go apply to it and actually get paid higher than someone that, you know, has only worked and hasn't been in the military. The other thing with that is you get Montgomery GI Bill, or the Chapter 33 GI Bill, which is essentially your school paid for up until just about a bachelor's. And that's a huge thing, because now you get out of the military with experience, real world experience, and you can get a degree out of it. Now you can also work towards a degree while in the military, not use the GI Bill. So that's always an option. I did not do that. I wish I would have, honestly, but I didn't. So I used my GI Bill instead. When you have things that can, you know, help you for the future, like the military gives you after serving, it can only improve your future. Granted, the military isn't for everyone. It really isn't. It's not that it's too hard or this or that. It's just, if it doesn't jive with what you want out of life, then you're not going to enjoy it. I know people that did their time and hated every minute of it. Other people, like myself, I enjoyed it. I couldn't do it for a lifetime, and there are people that do that, but I did it long enough to set myself up for success later in life. And as a civilian only, it's exponentially more difficult to do that, because you go to college, you get your degree, to come out, you have zero experience. You only know what was taught to you in school, and while that means you can read a book and take tests and maybe apply a little bit, it doesn't really set you up well enough to get a job that's any more than entry level. You're going to start as nothing and have to work your way up and prove yourself. This is another reason why I enjoy the military, because you get to prove yourself. And you either step up the bat and do your thing, or you wash out. But why would you want to squander the ability to improve your life? I wouldn't understand that, but again, you know, it's a lot of people did it. I know many guys have done that. I also know many guys have stayed in the field they got out of and know nothing else and still do it. Like the contractors, we still know guys that do still contracting. I mean, I do. I'm trying to get out of it. I don't want to be that person that stays in that field for their entire life and never really gets going in life, and just kind of keeps going and contracting, goes from contract to contract. You don't know when your next paycheck or next contract is going to be. You don't know how much you're going to be paid. You don't know if you're going to be undercut. There's a lot of things that go into it, and it's rather frustrating, and it's very unsure because year to year things change. So those of you that are unsure of what you'd like to do, the military gives you 4 years minimum. I think some places are 2. I don't know. You have to go and do the research yourself. But the military gives you the ability to take a test, see where you place, find a job, and they pay you to go to school for that job. And then when you get to your command, you start out as the lowest man and you work your way up. It's the same as everywhere else, but you actually get paid a good bit more, and you have the opportunity to travel the world. For me, the Navy, I found that I actually traveled the world a lot more because I was on a ship, I was forward deployed, and my first duty station was overseas. So I got to go all over the Pacific and all over the Asias in a very short amount of time. And each branch has their you know, grade point, high points, and low points, you know, and it's up to you to kind of filter out the BS that gets pitched to you from a recruiter, because recruiters will shoot you a lot of crap. Bottom line is, if you decide to do the military, make sure everything that your recruiter tells you is in writing, because if it's not, you're not guaranteed shit. You have got to make sure it's in writing and force them to do so. Make them do their jobs by researching stuff for you. And then take your ASVAB. If you're bad at taking tests, prepare for it. The higher the ASVAB you get, the more doors open for you, just like anywhere else. And those doors are pretty important when it comes to the military, because you can get shit jobs. You really can. I am 100% happy with the fact that I went into the military. I do not regret that for 1 second. I've gotten to see the world. I've gotten to do things that a lot of people have never been able to do, or simply have only dreamt of doing. And I've gotten to meet a ton of people. The friendships you make in the military over a short amount of time are way stronger than those you make as a civilian. It's 100% true. I barely talk to those people I was in high school with. I've known them for well over 12 years, going through school, and I barely talk to them. The people I was stationed with overseas and I was forward deployed with, those guys I talk to on a damn near regular basis. I've gotten a few of them to move out here, and I hang out with them. And I've only known them like for 3 or 4 years. I had a buddy of mine come down that I hadn't seen in well over 10 years, and it was just like I knew him, you know. And that's the beautiful thing about the military relationships is, as a veteran, we all understand. We've all been through crap. We've all had a shit experience one way or the other, and it's that experience that bonds us, that makes us a unique group of people. veterans will talk shit about each other all day long. It's what we do. And you see the memes of civilians trying to talk shit about veterans, and even though we were talking crap about each other, we will stop and put that civilian in their place and then go back to talking shit about ourselves. This is what we do. We have a very mutual respect for one another, and that's all that is. We have very thick skin, we can deal with a lot, and it's because of our experiences. As a civilian, you think you're owed certain things, and you're just not. You aren't owed anything. And as a veteran, as a military person, you realize that time is very precious because you spend a lot of time away. And 3 years I was overseas, stationed overseas, I got to go home a total of 45 days in 3 years. Think about that. Could you deal with not seeing your family for 340 days a year? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. So, it's not, like I said, stuff like that is why it's not for everyone. But if you're ever considering it, strongly consider it. Look inside yourself, see if there's things that you don't mind doing. If you don't mind being away from your family, if you can handle that to grow, then shit, do it. There's so many opportunities out there from the military that can only help you as a civilian. So, with that, I'm gonna go see my sales buddy here. He's got a check for me. Part of the more relationships you build as you go through life, as I sent him customers who bought a car. So I get to go pick up a check. Yay! Alright guys, you all have a good one. And I'll chat with you all later.